the year?
No, I think not. No, I think we're not playing as well. We can play a bit better. I'm not saying that just because every coach says it. I think the players themselves know what they're capable of, and we'll have to do better if we're going to win the remaining 2.
You have strung the wins together, though, so the score is on the board.
We've put 4. We lost 4 before that, so we're only...
Strong breeze behind him. Look at that kick go. It's right down the goal square. It's gone through for 1 behind. That's gone from the centre of Windy Hill, the breeze right behind him, and just got through on the first bounce. It just shows you how strong this breeze is, Pete.
Good thinking by Matthew Larkin as we see Gary Foles on screen about to bring in a strong wind, favouring the end that North Melbourne is kicking to. A bit of wrestling going on there. Free kick.
Man.
Yes, it's a free kick going against Considine, and it is going to John Holt. Now, Holt is a magnificent kick of a football. He is on the 50-metre line, Jack.
We've seen the last kick from Matthew Larkin, so he'll make the distance.
He is a great drop punt, normally a low skimmer. And it flies the pack, and what is it? It's a goal to North Melbourne. A great start for the Kangaroos. 1 goal, 1 North, to Essendon yet to score.
Well, makes you wonder about North Melbourne. There's a shot of the breeze, the pennant of the North Melbourne cheer squad blowing from behind the eastern goal here. The breeze coming nearly straight from the west and blowing straight into that goal we are seeing now. A very strong breeze, and you can tell that because North have had 2 shots at goal for 1-1, and we've only been playing 1.5 minutes at this stage. So North Melbourne, a very indifferent side this year. They've put in some bad ones, they've put in some good ones. Let's see what they can do against Essendon today. Bill Krakouer, nearly a throw. Taken by Madden, that was nearly a throw also. Picked up by Baker. The left foot kick from Baker up toward Ackley coming down to meet it. He's going to kick as long as possible. He's got a lot of height. It's one will hit the turf, I would think. No one will take the mark here. The ball thumped to the front of the pack, taken by Walsh. Hand pass comes out to Mark Thompson. His kick goes out to the centre of the ground, and the mark has been taken out there by Peter German.
Peter German, a great start for North Melbourne, would make it very difficult for Essendon. Oh, look at the long drop punt. It floats. And was it touched? I don't think it was. It's a goal. It's a great goal to Peter German from the half-forward flank. A long drop punt. The pack flew. Failed to touch the ball, and a great start to North Melbourne. A big quarter here by North, and the Bombers could find it difficult.
Well, North now have kicked 2 goals, 1 in the space of 2 minutes, just 2.5 minutes now as I speak. But the breeze are having a big effect on this game, so I just assume, Pete, whatever North can do, I suppose Essendon can do when they get the use of the breeze. We'll have to wait and see on that, because we're only 2.5 minutes into the first
I
term.
think it's always a big advantage, though, Jack, if you get away to a huge start. Here comes Essendon, though. They're a good side. There's Crocker going in after the football, a bloke with a lot of talent, grabbed high, and it was a free kick to Darren Crocker.
I don't think Essendon have had any free kicks, have they?
No. Well, North are attacking the ball at the moment. They're kicking with this strong breeze, as we said. There's the kick by Crocker. Barely, or nearly a mark, grabbed by Krakouer. And he goes after Jimmy Krakouer, and the pack forms at centre-half forward. We've only been playing, in fact, just over 3 minutes of this first quarter, and North Melbourne has scored 2 goals, 1.
Yes, the breeze, a big assistance early in the game here at Windy Hill. So North Melbourne 50 metres out from goal. Look at the mob around that ball, like the Vic Market Saturday morning. The ball tapped down, a chance now for Range. He's caught in possession. Krakouer goes through. Jimmy Krakouer's hand pass comes out. With a chance for Essendon to take the pressure off. A chance for Fairley, but a free kick going Essendon's way. And that was a let out there for the Bombers because they're under a lot of pressure. And this kick is going now to be taken by Gary Foles, is it? No, it's Considine. Up to Merritt, he can't take it clean. He sock it off the ground. Jimmy Krakouer pops it out to the side. And from here, Spargo can take this shot at goal. Inside the fellow. Oh, they're gone down right, left and centre. Look at them go down. Look at this. And they're not pushing, they're punching. My word.
Well, one of the crackers, Jimmy Krakouer, came in to back up his brother. That's what happened there. He came in strongly, and it was an all-in ball. Every player, except up the other end of the ground, there are 2 lone players, Paul Salmon and Stephen McCann. Have a look at that. Jimmy Krakouer, I'll tell you what, he doesn't mess around. Anything that happens to Phil, he's in there.
It's still going, too. It hasn't finished yet. The umpires are going to have their work cut out here. This is pretty strong stuff here.
And now Salmon and McCann are heading down to the action. It could be every player there in a moment. Arnold Brightus behind the play is pulling Jimmy Krakouer away. That's good thinking by Arnold Brightus.
I'd say Jimmy's done the block too. He's a bit dark on the whole situation. Now I think it was Holt's shot at goal. Spargo's shot at goal prior to all that. Now whether the umpires change anything here, I don't know. Arnold Bryan is still talking to Jimmy Krakouer. Temper's very, very afraid. The umpires have had the books out.
Well, he's writing something down, John Russo. There's John, a terrific umpire, John Russo. He won't get flustered in this situation. He's a very experienced umpire, but the book went out. I just wonder if Jimmy's gone again. But he won't stand any nonsense. There he is, little Jimmy.
Not much of him. He's
fantastic.
He's the smallest player in North Melbourne side, you know.
He's smaller than us here. He's a great player, Jimmy Krakouer. And, well, anything that happens to Phil, he'll be in there like the shot out of a gun. Now, Spargo, a chance from about 40 metres. No, he kicks from 50 metres. Can he kick it? Won't make the distance. Glendinning and Van der Haar over the back of the pack and over the line. The strong breeze, westerly breeze, favouring the end that North Melbourne is kicking to, and the tempers are flaring out there. Let's see what happens as we see Simon Madden down to the ground. Here's a chance for North again. On the left foot goes Peter German, and he puts it out of bounds on the full.
Boundary won't be a boundary throw, and a free kick going Essendon's way. That was German on screen. The player with the ball is Duckworth, Billy Duckworth from the back pocket, kicking high. The breeze holding it up. The players fly high. Madden up. The ball thumped away from him. Picked up by Arsiri. Given out to Jimmy Krakouer. He gets around. He's going to have his shot at goal. That's very close. That's a goal. That's a goal. Good goal kicked by Jimmy Krakouer. He kicks his first. Oh, dear. We've only been playing 6.5 minutes. We've had a lot of interest in this game so far. 6.5 minutes into the first term at Windy Hill, and we've had everything. North Melbourne on the scoreboard showing 3 goals, 19 points. Essendon have not been past their half-forward line.
Well, that's Jack, there's no doubt. You can whack a bloke, you can spit at him, you can kick him, but that's the best way to answer is to get the ball and kick a goal. You can turn around your opponent and say, how about that one? That's what Jimmy Krakouer did as we see the ruck work. Donald McDonald. Oh, gee, they went in hard after that one. Richardson was there. There's German. Gets his boot to ball. Punched away by Merritt.
Free kick.
It's a free kick going to North Melbourne against Merritt. It's going back, and North Melbourne are on fire at the moment. Boy, do they want to win this game. Rowan Robertson, who's been in great form. On the left foot. Kicks it wide. Glendinning flies. Nearly took the mark. It comes wide. What's that? It's like someone with legs. It's the North Melbourne kick to Peter German, is it, or the mark? And 15 metres takes the North Melbourne player to 40 metres from goal, directly in front, and it is Peter German a chance to kick his North Melbourne's 4th goal.
Well, Peter German on screen and his 2nd goal. He has kicked one. He's had 3 kicks, going for his 2nd goal. Gee, temper's frayed out here. There's been more punches thrown here than what you see at Festival Hall on a Friday night. Peter German going for his 2nd. Looks pretty close, dropping shy, just short of the goals and only one behind. That wasn't a good kick by German.
That was a shocking kick. It was a terrible kick. Kicking with a howling breeze not to make the distance was unforgivable. 3 goals to North Melbourne. Essendon haven't looked like getting it up into attack, where Paul Salmon's the only one on the forward line at the moment as Billy Duckworth brings it in, hooks it wide, and it'll be a mark to Johnny Holt. Oh, North Melbourne are looking good at the moment. Holt on half-forward back. They've already made a change. Elshaw's off the ground and Waterson on for Essendon. Johnny Holt onto that left foot. A long raking kick. Glendinning. Oh, Fairley. It's a mark! It's a mark to Ian Fairley in the goal square. Oh, boy. North Melbourne are on fire, and he'll kick this. And it'll be North Melbourne's 4th.
Well, we'll see. He's about to take the shot at goal. Peter McKenna said he'll kick it. He should kick it too. He's only a few metres out. This ball will go out of the ground. He's kicked it. North Melbourne, in the space of 9 minutes, Ian Fairley kicks his 1st goal. North Melbourne have kicked 4 goals too, 20 points. Essendon have not been past. In fact, they haven't been out of the square, Peter, onto their forward line.
Windy Hill, goals galore by North Melbourne. The reporting of Jimmy Krakouer, and then another sensation at the 13.5-minute mark of the term. Let's go to that now.
Paul Van der Haar bringing the ball out to the defensive side of the ground. That's where Essendon has to have it. And Baker getting the ball moving up toward the wing position. Taken by Danaher. He'll hand pass on. No, he goes short. He goes into Hawker. Hawker has the gap closed on him. He wants to play on. He's looking for a lead. He's forced to kick hurriedly into the half-forward zone. 4 North Melbourne players there, and they messed it up between them. Baker can't take it cleanly. Holding the man was a player appealing for. Nearly a throw to German. German's kick smothered. It's picked up by Ezard. He can't do a thing with it. Robertson goes down to half-forward to Larkin, who's pushed out. Taken by Duckworth. Oh! He got hit by Glendinning. Did he get hit?
That was fair, Jack.
No. The umpire said no. Duckworth.
Well, why hasn't he reported him if it was an elbow?
Well, he may do that in a minute. I don't know.
He hasn't reported him, Jack. That was a hip and shoulder by Glendinning, and that was a disgraceful decision.
But he's made contact with the face.
Hip and shoulder. There, it's allowed in football.
I didn't know it was. You can't make contact with the face. They're calling for the stretcher. So Duckworth's down. What a first quarter here at Essendon. Duckworth got theirs. What's the umpire reporting him for? I don't know. Look, the books are out. Gee, they'll need a new book at quarter time, each of these umpires.
Well, maybe you thought it was a... Well, what did you think, Jack?
Well, he made contact with the face. I'm not saying how he made contact.
I think North Melbourne would be delighted to see Glendinning run in so hard. But
I don't know how Saggers got himself involved in that, though.
Who?
Saggers. He's just reported Saggers by the look of things.
Well, Saggers was running into the open goal for an easy goal after the Glendinning, geez, he ran in hard. I thought it looked fair to me from where I was. And,
I just one of those things. He did make contact with the face where the free kick must be given.
Well, Saggers was actually reported for time wasting by two umpires. It had nothing to do with the incident involving Glendinning and Billy Duckworth, and Scott Palmer will have more on that a little bit later on. Let's go back to the first quarter now. We pick up play this time at the 28-minute mark of the term, and North Melbourne in a commanding position, the Kangaroos leading by a mammoth 33 points.
Goals up that end will be like gold today, Jack.
Yes, they will. Danaher tries to break out of the pack, can't do so. The pressure's on him, and North take it away.
Bill Krakouer, a beautiful hand pass. That was magnificent hand pass to Mark Asiri. Asiri's flat after he kicks the ball. Stupid play by Mark Harvey. Silly play. He kicked the ball. Mark Harvey charged him, and there's a lot of undisciplined play out there at the moment.
Taking the words right out of my mouth. Undisciplined football, and Sheedy's going to hate what he's seeing here because going into the finals next week, he doesn't want to see an undisciplined side going out. Now it's up to North Melbourne's full forward zone. Fairly tried to get a shot at goal, couldn't do so. He tries to get a hand pass out. Walsh is caught. The ball on the turf, picked up by Larkin. He's in trouble. It's hurried out of the pack toward goal. The left foot snap, I think, was from Harrington, was it?
Yep, Tim Harrington.
Gee, it was a quick snap.
It was a good effort.
But it was off target, only one behind.
What's he doing down there? He must have followed his man.
I don't know what he was. He was on the half-back flank there before when he messed it up, and then he had that shot at goal. So North Melbourne 5-5-35. Essendon 1 point. You're on 7th big league.
Oh, good effort by McDonald. He backed into the pack there. Johnny Holt was there. Was it a free? No, said the umpire.
Yes, it is.
Was it? I thought it was. Now, this is not without... I'll tell you what, this is 55 metres, and Holt will put it in the goal square from there, and that long rake, he might even kick the distance. Oh, look at the kick! It's a ripper kick! What a kick by John Holt! He's dobbed it. I knew he could make the distance. He is that good a kick. He's kicked his second, and this is a brilliant quarter by North Melbourne. 6 goals, 5, a total of 41, leading Essendon 1 point.
Yes, we've been playing 29 minutes now the first term on 7's Big League, and this game exclusive to 7-2 today on the Big League, and I think you'll appreciate the action you see.
Kevin Sheedy has got up out of the box. He is walking around the boundary line. He is disgusted, I think, with his team. There's Larkin's got it. Larkin with a long kick. Glendinning and Van der Haar. Glendinning caught underneath the ball, and Paul Van der Haar has taken the mark at full back.
Well, Van der Haar
across goal, a hand pass.
He has to.
Well, Foles is there. This could be danger, though. Oh, Crocker and Harrington. Harrington should have taken the mark. Oh, grabbed by Ross Smith. Ross Smith brings it back. Glendinning, Saggers, and it's a brilliant mark taken down there by Simon Madden in the last line of defence.
Yes, that was
Considine.
He's messed it up, though. There's a chance for Robertson. He tries for a hand pass overhead. He can't find it. Teammate German's there. He can't pick it up fairly. Kicks toward goal, but it's way off target, and it's out of bounds on the full. Essendon may be forced to go to the outer side now because that's the attacking side for North Melbourne. They're trying to get the ball around toward the northern side of the ground, which is the defensive side. But now the ball has been delivered out by Foles to the attacking side of the ground. And who takes the mark? It looks like Harrington from out here. And he'll take this shot at goal.
Well, he's the only one who got in. He got in front, Jack, and the ball was going to drop short, and he took the strong mark.
It has to drop short into that breeze, Pete.
Strong wind. It's even got stronger as the game has progressed. A very, very strong westerly.
North Melbourne, 40 points, 4-0 points in front of Essendon at the 31-minute mark of the first term. The kick by Harrington. Hey, that's nearly through. It's a goal. Kicked by Tim Harrington. He kicks his first goal. My word, are the
wouldn't have
North
kicked
boys
many.
fired up this afternoon. North Melbourne 7-5-47. Essendon 1 point on Seven's big league. That might be Harrington's first
I
goal.
was just wondering
because
about
he's
that.
a full back, you know.
He's played all his football in the back line. I wonder if that's his first goal in league football. As Jack said, 7-5. But look, forget about the win. This has been a brilliant performance by North Melbourne in this first quarter to 1 point Essendon. And I'll tell you what, it's been done through sheer guts and determination and will to get that ball out of the centre.
And also kicking long.
Yep, I agree.
And the ball up. Madden tries for it, can't get it. Take it out and hurried up by Baker, but straight to Ackley. Oh, that'll be 15 against Danaher. I don't know why the fans go crook about that, because that was stupid on Danaher's part. Ackley puts it forward. Saggers tries for the spot. Can't take the mark. Oh, Saggers got held. Yes, that's it. Saggers will take the shot at goal and try for his second from within the 50-metre mark.
You called that well, Jack. He was grabbed just as he went for the ball. He was pulled back off the ball. And good umpiring by John Russo to see that one at the
2-minute mark.
Or 38.
32-minute mark.
Sorry, 32-minute mark, I should say, of this first quarter. Now, this goal would be handy to Saggers. Oh, it's a good-looking drop putt. It's a goal. 2 goals to Robbie Saggers, and North Melbourne is streaking ahead. 8 goals, 5, a total of 53 to Essendon 1 point.
Scores, the term that won it for North Melbourne was their first. They kicked 8-5 to 1 point, finally running out winners by 22 points. In the stats, not too much here. Essendon having 15 more marks and 12 more hit-outs. The goals for North Melbourne, Jimmy Krakouer finished up with 4 and Saggers got 3. And for Essendon, Merritt got 3 goals. Krakouer was reported, Saggers was reported, and Considine was
to the
reported.
game. Now, why so much emotion when you haven't made the 5?
Well, when you've had a week such as I had and our team had from without taking anything from Melbourne, we put in a terrible effort against Melbourne, and I began to think, well, if this is the end, this is what's happened at North after 2 years, you know, there wasn't much future, and I was very down in the mouth, and so I was more relieved to be part of the win yesterday.
Well, has football become such a psychological game that you have to, as a coach, be able to gear them up, because they 14 goals against Melbourne, and yet they came out yesterday and that was a ferocious first quarter effort.
Well, you know, we had to do something. We were in terrible situation after the Melbourne game, and at least we had to have a good attitude, and I thought we had the right attitude yesterday anyhow.
Kevin, the start of this year, football scribes were talking about Essendon as being one of the greatest sides in 30, 40 years. I think it was pretty general after 2 premierships. What has happened to the side that you've struggled this year and you've just made the 5 on percentage? What's been the change?
Well, I suppose quite often during the year lots of things happen, and players might not come up the next year to play as devastatingly as well as what they could, and with that ferociousness that you have to win a premiership. I think that possibly a little bit of that. But we are in the finals, we've fought hard to keep our percentage up around the 120 mark, because the teams in and just outside the 5 were really struggling at 90 and 92 and 94%. So we made conscious decisions to play players when they had, in some circumstances, a lot of bad injuries, and we won some matches and we lost a couple, but it kept our percentage a very healthy percent, and you know, that's got us into the finals, and that's given us a really good chance. And we haven't played well the last week or two. Naturally, our first quarter has been very disappointing, but the last 3 quarters of both the last matches, we've been as good, if not better, than the opposition.
Well, 2 questions. Are you disappointed in Paul Salmon? The ball didn't come up. Well, the ball didn't come up in the first quarter and you took him off at the 20-minute mark. And the second question, you must be concerned with the form of your little men on a day that was made for Rovers.
Well, I'm not disappointed in Paul. I thought Paul played very well yesterday into the ruck.
Why did you take him off at the 20-minute mark when the ball wasn't up there? Is that a sign that you're not happy with him?
No, we just thought we'd bring him off the ground, right, readjust the side, and as you would have noticed, that Paul played all day in the ruck and played very, very well.
Well, not in the first quarter he didn't play in the ruck, did he?
Well, after we took him off, naturally. But if the ball's not coming up to the forward line, we're going to either pack, North Melbourne's forward line when they've kicked them with the wind, or we bring a smaller player onto the ground. And we brought Paul off, and then I put him in the ruck for the last 3 quarters. He was one of our best players, and I felt that it'd be really good to give him the whole rest of the match to run him into form, because we knew we were going to play in the final the next week, and I want players really coming into form for next week's match, and that's the reason why we picked the range, who probably needed the match, Vanderhaar, who needed the game, and really by the end of the match Vanderhaar started to look really good, and we've got a couple of other players that actually needed the match.
John, Ross Glendinning, hip and shoulder bump, put Billy Duckworth off the ground. Not like Ross Glendinning throwing his weight round like that. That's not a sign that he may be missing next year and he's heading back to Western Australia. What is his future?
He's running in that direction, was he, the West?
Good answer. But what is his future? What do you know about? There's been a lot of rumours.
Well,
I can't top that answer.
I honestly don't know, Peter. I spoke to him and just said that I just hope he's with North next year, because he's a great footballer, and we need him, and I think he's very popular at North, and he has the respect of the players at North, and I think he's happy there too.
Kevin, with this losing 2 games at home, you've got a big final coming up next week. You'll be tempted to make changes.
Oh, not really. I think that we haven't played that many good games at Essendon this year, Peter. We've played our best football at Waverley and at the MCG in the last 6 years, really. And I think that we always play better on the bigger grounds, and I'm quite convinced that we'll return to somewhere near, not far away from our best form for next week's final.
Good luck, Kev, next week, and a good year in patches, John.
In patches, maybe.
Thank you.
Thanks, sir.
In the Canberra Club Award, the voting for North Melbourne yesterday, Matthew Larkin got the points ahead of Jimmy Krakouer and Peter German, while for the Bombers, Roger Merritt ahead of Paul Salmon and Terry Danaher. Now, how did they finish up at North Melbourne?
The fact that certainly that they have slipped a heck of a lot, Essendon. At the start of the year, people were talking about them being one of the greatest sides in the past 20 years, but all of a sudden the wheels have fallen off a bit, and I think it's got a heck of a lot to do with their little men. They're not firing at the moment. They're on the outskirts of the packs. They've got good ruckmen, but the little fellas are trying to do the easy things. And North Melbourne at the start of the game, you wouldn't believe it was the North Melbourne that lost by 14 goals to Melbourne the previous week. There's young Rowan Robertson, who's a real goer. Here's the best man on the ground, Larkin. Larkin, German, Jimmy Krakouer. The little men cut Essendon to pieces. And Salmon, he started off at full forward, and at the 20-minute mark of the first quarter, hadn't seen the ball. He was taken off the ground, was brought back on when Madden was injured.
Peter, what is it about the game today that a side like North can go down to Melbourne so badly last week and then come out and beat Essendon at Essendon?
Well, Bob, I think I asked the question of John Kennedy. It's a psychological thing. I don't know what it is these days. You have to be able to, somehow the coach has to have the capacity to be able to psych the players into giving 100%. There is no way known that Melbourne, with their personnel, should beat a side like North Melbourne, yet they beat them by 14 goals. Yesterday, out they came. They absolutely blitzed Essendon with 8 goals in the first quarter. That was the end of the penny section. And but for Merritt and Salmon, they would have been beaten by a lot more.
They haven't got their rovers going well, Essendon.
That's what I said. The little men now...
Crackers now have cut you to ribbons if they are rovers on the other side.
Jimmy Krakouer played an outstanding game. Now...
You just said that, Jack.
What? I'm talking about
that.
I know he did, but he said it was a different reason they got beat.
What are you pushing up for rovers? You were against them for 40 years, now you're sticking up for them.
I'm going to try and find one.
Jack, under windy conditions, it should be a perfect Rovers game. And Essard had about 5 or 6 kicks. Elshaw had about 6 kicks. Richardson, about 12 possessions. Rains is down, so their little and medium-sized players were down. They were relying far too much on their big men.
Peter, over the last couple of weeks, Essendon has been beaten, yet Kevin Sheedy has remained very, very confident that they're in the finals and they're going to do well in the finals. But on going on what you have just said, Essendon appears to have lost their competitive edge. Too many of the players satisfied that they've won premierships over the last 2 years and no longer want to do any of the hard work.
I think that's a natural progression, Kevin, after 2 premierships. But look, don't let's write off Essendon. They'll come back.
Why wouldn't you write them
I
off?
wouldn't write them off because they're a final side. They've had the experience of a couple of years. Sheedy will G them up the next week. It's going to be a very tough game for Fitzroy.
What's he going to do? Lock them up so no one can go and have a look at them train and all that business? That's marvellous. That'd be good to do that.
It's hard on these players.
Peter, what effect has Rains and Richardson had on Essendon, and have they been worth the money they had to pay for them, or whatever money they did pay for them?
Well,
honest opinion now, no pulling
you've got to
any
remember
punches.
one thing about Jeff Rains. He is 30 years of age. Your best football is played when you're 25 and 26, and after that it's a progression downhill.
Yeah.
Now, Jeff Rains, in my opinion, is getting towards the end of his career. There's no doubt about that. He's still a good player. He's a great kick. But Michael Richardson will be a very, very good player once Essendon get their game going.
Why do you say that?
Well, Mike's...
You're saying he's a front runner?
I'm saying that Mike's a very good open space player when they can feed it out to him. He's great at capping off the good work of players further afield.
That's the new term, Jack.
Yeah, the space age they call it.
What would you call it?
I'd call him a fringe area player.
A fringe area player.
A fringe area, that's out of suburban.
I think, Sandy, I want to make a comment about the first quarter. One thing I've never seen before was Ross Glendinning ran 30 metres, hip and shoulder, and ran through Billy Duckworth, and Billy ended up in hospital. I've never seen Ross Glendinning do that ever. It was fair, it was tough, it was hard. But I'm just wondering about Ross Glendinning, what his future is. I just wonder if he thought, well, this is my last game, I'm going to throw the weight around a bit, because he really ran through a couple of guys yesterday. Let's hope he stays and plays the rest of his football career in Melbourne.
All right, let's have your votes, please, Pete.
I gave a vote to Roger Merritt, who's got a huge heart. He battled hard all day, centre-half forward and full forward, a tremendous competitor. 2 votes. And look, the Essendon crowd hated this bloke all day, but I'd go miles, as probably Skilton said the other week, to watch him play. Jimmy Krakouer, he's fantastic. And 3 votes to an outstanding player, easily best man on the ground.
Right in towards that full forward area. Oh! John Gill puts it